What's going on, y'all? I've got some really cool buffs and changes for both the male and the female Indeedee. I've given them really cool changes to distinguish the two much more. And of course, there is that obvious type change here that I'll explain the logic for in just a second. But before I get into that, I want to have a disclaimer for anybody who's new here. So I really appreciate you if you clicked on the video and you're new here. I recommend you pause the video and read the description with the bullet points. I've got a kind of like, I guess, a spark notes, a summary of the very important key points of the ROM hack, my philosophy behind buffing and changing every Pokemon, and all that stuff. So definitely give that a read if you're new here, or if you're returning and you haven't done that yet. And when you're done with the video, don't click off yet because it'll mess up my watch time, and that would really suck. But um, when you're done with the video, you can check out the Google Sheet link down below and look at this move guide. I also have a move video explaining all these as well. But yeah, I really recommend that if you haven't done this yet to go to the move guide. It's all linked into categories, organized into all sorts of categories for your viewing convenience. So definitely give all that a look. Other important stuff too, like held item buffs and changes, really important, quick claw, all that crap. Give it a look when you're done. And then you can also check out the playlist for the other videos linked down below as well. But Indeedee, so Psychic Fairy type. Fairy fits Indeedee very well. If you don't know, this is why. So if you read the Pokedex, it talks about sensing. So first of all, a lot of the stuff I'm about to list could be associated with the Psychic type, right? I mean, it is. Objectively, it is associated with the Psychic type because it's Psychic and normal in Vanilla. But so a part of the other reason outside of the fact that it does fit is to differentiate them from other Psychic Normal and Psychic Fairy types. So I have to do this kind of juggling with Pokemon of the same type combo to make sure that all three of their ability slots don't overlap with each other. Um, so for example, there's other Psychic Normals I might want Psychic Surge on, uh, or Energy Shield on, or all these other abilities I gave them. So that's a really important thing to consider, and that was also part of the reason I changed the typing. But also, to me at least, things like positive emotions, disliking conflict. Okay, I'm gonna read them already. So it senses emotions of others. They serve and look after people. They pick up on the emotions of people, creatures around it. Positive emotions are the source of its strength. It picks up on positive emotions. It fuels itself with positive emotions. It never leaves its trainer's side. It predicts their actions with psychic power. That's a psychic part, but taking care of their the day-to-day needs, serving people, gather feelings of gratitude, babysitting, disliking conflict, joy and gratitude, happy feelings, caring for other Pokemon. As you can see, there's like a big theme here, right, of caring for other Pokemon, and I think that really does fit the Fairy typing. That's why stuff like Mega Audino is Fairy type, and Base Audino should have been too. That's why stuff like what are other examples? There's a bunch of examples. I just can't think of them right now. Gardevoir kind of like any, because fairy can be a lot of things, right? Fairy can be caring, fairy can be cute, fairy can be magical, fairy can be mystical. It can be any combo of those things. Oftentimes more than one. So indeed, I mean, obviously they're also cute, and they have the mystical-ish vibes, magical vibes. But the main thing is just the fact that they're caring. They're literally the emotion Pokemon. To me, that fits fairy as much as it fits psychic, especially because it's positive emotions. Um, for example, why is I don't know. I think it fits at least as well as normal does, and it helps me with the balancing of other Pokemon of that combo. So that's why I chose Fairy. And then as for the abilities, they have very distinguishing abilities. The stats are also different, and they do make a small impact, but I would say the major impact is the abilities. That's the main differentiating factor here. So they both share Psychic Surge, which is just good. It's good utility. It makes your expanding force at level 60 super strong. Honestly, I could probably push that earlier, but whatever. I probably could. I probably should even. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? It's strong though. In terrain and scarf and whatever. I mean, that's all brainless, boring stuff, but it is good. I would say it's also useful because it sets up terrain pulse for your allies when most special attackers get access to terrain pulse now. It overrides other terrains, so it overrides electric and misty and all these other terrains that the AI might use against you. And it also, most importantly, I would say, makes you immune to priority on top of that special attack boost, not the psychic move boost, of course. So yeah, being immune to priority is very, very useful. As for the male has two offensively themed abilities with Instinct. Instinct fitting the whole emotions, like sensing emotions type of thing. And I think it makes him a really cool mixed attacker. 85 105 offenses at +1 are incredibly powerful. Even just the 85 attack, you're hitting like base 140 almost. With a neutral nature, yeah, base 145 attack at +1, roughly. So that's very, very, and then special attack is even stronger, right? So very, very, very strong. Of course, you need to run Scarf a lot of the time because you're not very fast. You're not that quick naturally, so you will need Scarf or Quick Claw or some other way of boosting your speed up. But still very strong, of course. And of course, if it's a slower Pokemon, then you can blow them up like a slower tanky Pokemon. You can blow them up with Instinct. And then Hubris is also a very big. Like I would say, Indeedee Male is a bit of a Scarf Hog, if I'm being honest. He'll definitely, because this game is balanced around item clause, so he'll probably have to be using a Scarf on him a lot. But he is very good with it because of that Hubris as well, allowing him to snowball. Very, very boring ability, but it does fit, again, that whole sensing emotion type of vibe, and just the fact that I wanted to differentiate the two of them, and also the fact that you have to keep in mind I have to balance this around like 6 other Psychic Fairy types with 3 abilities each, so that's also something to keep in mind. But yeah, 6th Sense for the female. I would much prefer the female in terms of gameplay. I think they're much more interesting. Although I will say male Instinct mix is really cool, especially because he has really cool physical moves. Play Rough, Zen Headbutt, Mega Horn, Takedown, cool physical moves like that. I think are funny and fun to use. But yeah, female's really cool with that Energy Shield, making her incredibly bulky with 70, 85, 105, and Recover. Or Draining Kiss, both of which function really well with Energy Shield. And then 6th Sense gives her great utility and also good offensive utility because Psy Strike, despite being, for example, like Expanding Force, Psychic Surge is much stronger than Psy Strike, right? However, Psy Strike, Thunder, and Focus Blast are all 130 power, 85% accuracy. However, with 6th Sense, those won't miss anymore. So level 45, getting a 130 power Psychic move with no drawback is very good because the drawback of that move is normally that you have to use Wide Lens with it or some other accuracy boosting thing. But with 6th Sense, it gives you a really strong option. It is still, actually no, it's stronger than Psy Shock 90 power. Yes, 6th Sense Psy Strike is stronger than Psychic Surge Psychic. But once you get Psycho Break and Psycho Boost at level 50 and 55, that's when it starts to become much stronger, of course. So that's all definitely worth keeping in mind. And then, yeah, Energy Shield's great defensively. And then I would say the main cool thing with 6th Sense outside of that coverage as well with Focus Blast and Thunder is that you get 100% accurate Sleep move in Dreamy Kiss. So otherwise you have to run Wide Lens again, which is like kind of hard to pull off when you're not that quick, but it's not impossible, of course. It's still good, especially if you want to put something to sleep that's slower than you, or if you want to just take the hit and put them to sleep. Speaking of taking the hit and putting them to sleep, sleep is reworked to always last for 2 turns. So what that means is if you're running a bulky Indeedee, slower bulky one, you take the hit, you click Dreamy Kiss, you put him to sleep. Also level 40, by the way, is pretty damn early for that, but you put him to sleep and you get 2 full turns of sleep if you were slower. If you're faster and you use like Quick Claw or Choice Scarf or just a naturally fast Dreamy Kiss though, the downside is that you only get 1 turn of sleep because that first turn counts for a turn. So while the benefit is you don't have to take a hit the first turn, but the downside is you only get 1 full turn. So depending on how you want to abuse that sleep, that'll be what you determine the sleep, like if you want to use it in a certain way or not, faster or slower sleep. You've also got stuff like Disable, Encore, Mind Pulse, Disarming Voice, which drop attack and special attack, Befriend and Charm, which drop attack and special attack, each respectively. Heart Swap swaps your stat boost, so that's really good for setup Pokemon on the AI's team. Also fits with their whole thing about sensing emotions and stuff. I also wanted to give them Take Heart at some point, but I figured they really don't need it. I might have the AI run like a Take Heart Indeedee at some point because that's kind of cool. Take Heart being an Omni boost. I just think it's a bit too strong with Psychic Surge. That's why I don't want to give it, because it kind of, the only thing that stops you at that point is Quick Claw, because you're +1 speed, +1 special attack, and you're also healing off like a para, say, or if the opponent parried you, whatever. I don't know. It's just a bit cheesy for me. I might throw it on one day at level 65 or 100 if I feel like it though, because it does fit very well. Take Heart. It's pretty much it. Very straightforward. You got your priority, Pixie Dust, Influx, Befuddle, Think Fast. Fake Out is also pretty good for male, especially. I mean, it's good for both of them to break sashes and whatnot, but male with Instinct is pretty cool because it gets you extra chip to put things into range. Yeah, it's really it. Coverage, so you've also got other interesting physical coverage moves that you don't have on the special side, like Ice Punch and other stuff like that. Of course, on the special side, you have Aura Sphere and Thunderbolt and all that crap. And Mystical Fire, so Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Drain Punch are less impressive. Takedown, etc. is all less impressive, but regardless, that, like I already covered earlier, that attack stat at +1 is still very, very strong with Instinct, so definitely still worth using, despite being lower. That's the beauty of having Move Relearner, is you can switch your moves whenever you want to and kind of just go crazy from there. You've also got teleport, which is great. Pivot move works great with both energy shield or with just in general like being tanky. Because while the male is much frailer than the female, it's not like it's a glass cannon. You know, its special defense especially is still very solid, very good. With investment at least, you can definitely still take hits. So even on the physical side, you could take hits. It's just not as bulky as the female. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you made it to the end. Shout out to you if you did. Last thing I can cover, I guess, is to encourage physical sets more on the male Indeedee. I also gave Psycho Break earlier, which is essentially Psychic type close combat at level 50, which is super early with like Scarf Instinct stuff, or even just Psychic Search stuff. It's a very strong move. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, y'all.